Hello students, welcome back to my channel. In last lecture, we were discussing about standard 10 social science subject, chapter number 10 India agriculture, and we completed the information about the fruits, vegetables, flowers, medicinal condiments, spices, and other cash crops. Before I start my lecture, there are some students whose name I would like to announce. Uh, the students' names whom I announce right now, they are the students who are replying with their comments. Okay, few of them are comments, but they not mention their name. So sorry for not announcing your name. Khushi Bayani, okay, Rujuta, Devansh. These are the students who reply through comments, and if anybody else whose name I not announced, please mention your name in comments. So in next video I will mention your names. The students who are providing their feedback through comments, I'm very thankful to them. And those who are watching this video, please try your level best to give the answer of the questions or write your opinion in the comment section so that I can able to do something better for you. Okay, so today's session we would like to talk about technical and institutional reforms in agriculture. Now, students, this is very important concept because it can be asked in exam so many ways. Number one, it can be asked in exam in such a way that write the difference between technical reforms and institutional reforms, or as an individual question of 3 marks, explain technical reforms, or individual question of 3 marks, explain institutional reforms, or else 4 mark long answer that explain technical and institutional reforms in agriculture. So, we would like to start with our reading part line by line, and at the same time, we will also highlight those words which can be easily converted. And for our help, I have some of the photographs which whose link I will upload in the description part. But see the description part in 1 or 2 days because it takes some time, okay, to upload the things. So let's start without any disturbance. Technical and institutional reforms in agriculture. Earlier, farming was carried out by simple and ordinary farm implements like a sickle, spade, hoe, that is called pavdo in Gujarati, drill plow, bullock cart, etc. These are the old tools, okay, through which the agriculture farming carried out. Okay, now what do you mean by this? See, I want to show you something. This is sickle. You are able to see this. This is sickle. This is spade. This is hoe. Okay, and this is plow. All right. So these are the tools used. Okay, in earlier time. Now modern implements have entered into it, of which tractors, trailers, rotavators, etc. are common. Now I want to show you. This is rotavators. Okay, and tractors and trailers, I hope you are aware, they are common. Beside, modern equipment like a thresher and harvesters are used in the wheat harvesting. See, this is harvester and this is thresher. I hope you can able to see this is harvester, okay, and thresher. So we talk about the olden tools. Okay, earlier uses sickle, spade, hoe, plow, now rotavators. This is rotavators, harvester, thresher. These are the modern tools of agriculture activities. Now there is an increase in the use of chemical fertilizer. Okay, chemical fertilizer, hybrid seeds, BT seeds, insecticides, drip irrigation, and greenhouse. So these are these are the use of all these increase to make agriculture better and better. Okay. Now reform means something better, best we can say. Change, massive change is called reforms. So the first category is technical reforms. The changes which have taken place in seeds, fertilizers, and farm implements in India are known as technical reforms. This is the definition. The changes were kept in taken place in seeds or fertilizer or farm implements in India. They are called technical reforms. Either you change the seeds or you change fertilizer or you change farm implements. Okay. So these are the changes known as technical reforms. So we will discuss them term by term. The farmer who earlier used leather buckets and water wheel. Okay. Now to satisfy the requirement of water, they use submersible pump or monoblock pump or solar pump or drip irrigation and sprinklers. Okay, these are the words. If you type in Google, you will get their photographs. Okay, so these are the tools through which or machines through which the requirement of water can be satisfied. Submersible pump, there are many people available at their home with submersible pump to satisfy the requirement of water, and a submersible pump will fetch the water from ground level. Okay, monoblock pump and solar pump, I hope you aware. Okay, sprinklers, you can able to watch in many movies. In the center they have a one instrument and it will uh, move in both the directions so that water will move on all the direction. Next point is chemical fertilizer like underline diammonia phosphate, DAP, NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash, urea, and other biofertilizers, liquid biofertilizer. Okay, biotic seeds are used. So these are the reform in fertilizer. All these are the informative area. You have to remember it. So my request to you is watch the video again and again, along keeping textbook with you. I think so by that way you can able to remember it. Now farmers are constantly guided through radio. Okay, the first guidance they can get through radio, then television, then newspaper. For example, DD Kisan channel start, Doordarshan. So farmers can watch the agriculture related programs. SMS on mobile by Kisan toll free number and Kisan call center. So you can give a phone call on this number 1800 Okay. Now there are some students has a very bad habit to give a phone call on this to check whether it is working or not. It is working. Okay, please. Next, government farm web portals, websites and app, iKhedut and mobile app AgriMart. These are the questions can be asked in objective type of question also. So all these facilities are there through which farmers can get the guidance. New agriculture research and new techniques are conveyed to the farmers in the villages by Gram Sevak. So Gram Sevak is an appointed fellow, a person who inform the farmers in the village about the new agriculture research going on and the new techniques. It is the role of Gram Sevak to convey the farmer in the village about the new technique of agriculture and the new research done in agriculture. Next, a farmer training center is established in every district. Okay, farmer training center is established in every district headquarter where the farmers are given the training. Farmers can get the benefit of training, can train themselves for better quality and quantity of agriculture products. Recent information and guidance are provided to the farmers through agriculture fairs in Gujarat. Government organizes agriculture fair where the farmers can visit the fair and can get the latest information. Or if they want to ask anything, then they can get the guidance about any specific question. Next is agriculture university and agriculture colleges are established in every state. Okay, agriculture university, separate university is there, and there are so many agriculture colleges available where you can able to go for BSc agriculture, MSc agriculture, like that courses are there, and agriculture universities are established. Now can be asked in exam in Gujarat at which location we have agriculture universities. Then the names are Dantewada, Junagadh, Anand and Navsari. They are the places in Gujarat where they establish agriculture universities. Now these universities carry out research and uh, prepare new experts in agriculture. So here what happened, whatever research and development done in university, that benefit can be obtained by the farmers. Next, beside this important full form, Indian Council for Agriculture Research, ICAR, Department of Agriculture Research and Education, there they are active at national level regarding the research in agriculture and educate the farmer as far as agriculture requirement concerned at the national level. So students, these are the technical reforms. Now we will go for institutional reforms. The reforms, please underline, the reforms connected with the land ownership, crop subsidy, and the sale of farm produce are considered to be the institutional reforms in India. So when you go for reforms, either the ownership of land or the subsidy of crop or sell the farm produce. Regarding these three, massive change done or will go for, then that is called institutional reforms. Now, so far, whatever reforms carried out by government, that we have to learn. Okay. Now, government has discarded landlordism. Okay. Now, what is landlordism? Those who have a big farm, they purchase another big farm. By the help of again income, they purchase another big farm. So they are landlord. Huge amount of land available. So government has discarded this landlordism and stopped the exploitation of farmer. Because those who purchase more and more farm, they will keep people for agricultural labor, and by that way they go for exploitation. Under the law, land to the tiller. Tiller means who go for agriculture. Land to tiller, Land Tenancy Act. The land tillers have been given their right to become the owner of the land. Previously, what happened? These landlord people give their land to the tiller. Tiller means the person who do agriculture actually in the agriculture farm. Okay, and this landlord give very less amount. Okay, if I tell you in current ratio, if you work from morning 5 to evening 5, okay, then according to current rate they provide just 10 rupees per day. So government decide that now go for land to the tiller. Means what? Those who are actually doing agriculture, the land will be of that person. So land tiller have been given their right to become the owner of the land because they actually go for agriculture activity. Then next point, the disparity among the landowners has been removed by Land Ceiling Act. I will tell you in short. Disparity means what? Disparity means partiality. Okay, so there are partiality available that some has a very big farm, some has a very small farm. So this there is a disparity among landowners. So government tried to remove that disparity, this partiality or this imbalance. Those who have a land, they have extreme land. Then those who have less land, they have a less hectare of land. So government want to solve this partiality, this disparity of land, and for that government do this by the help of Land Ceiling Act. I will not go in detail because right now it's not a correct way to go in detail about Land Ceiling Act. But yes, you can search on Wikipedia. Those who are interested, most welcome. Farmers are given financial help for crop subsidy by Kisan credit card. So here farmer get crop subsidy. They get Kisan credit card by nationalized and cooperative bank. Okay, for the sake of getting financial help. So farmer get the financial help by the help of nationalized bank or cooperative banks, and they get special credit card. Okay, for crop subsidy and financial assistance. Farmers are given full insurance protection, okay, of their crops through Prime Minister Crop Insurance Scheme, so that if anything unfavorable happen, then they can able to get the benefit of insurance. Next, when the crops fail due to drought or through excessive rain, farmers are given financial help by government. Government announce some financial help that those farmers, because of unfavorable climatical situation, okay, face loss, government will provide help to them. Next, government provide legal support on open auction process is made widespread for the sale of farm products in marketing yards. In our city Bhavnagar also near Chitra we have a marketing yard, and uh, auction their auction announced, and in that auction government provide opportunity that farmers get best price. Next, facilities like cooperative society, market association, and cooperative warehouse, cold storage, transportation and communication, etc. have been provided so that the farmers would get the minimum support price of the farm products. Minimum support price means what? Minimum amount where farmer not face loss. That is called minimum support price. It is also known as MSP. Okay, and how they get this? Because government provides the facility of cooperative society who will purchase farm products from the farmers at the support price, means the price level where farmer not face loss. Then market association, then cooperative warehouse where they can keep their stock. Okay, some cold storage because several agriculture products required some temperature. Okay, then transportation facility also available, communication channel available through which they can communicate for the better prices. So all these reforms are going on and already done. Next is following organizations are operating for the purchase of farm products from the farmers at support price. Now who purchase? This institute will purchase the farm products from the farmers at support price, and they are National Agriculture Cooperative Marketing Federation of India, that is called NAFED, NAFAD. Okay, National Agriculture Cooperative Marketing Federation of India. Second, Gujarat Cooperative Oil Seeds Growers Federation, GROFED, and National Dairy Development Board, NDDB. Please remember the full form. These are those institutes who are ready to purchase the products from the farmer at that rate where farmer not face loss. After talking about the reforms, now we talk about green revolution. Okay, so we will discuss green revolution can be asked as a question of 3 marks or 4 marks. Now in this lesson, several questions are, every regular interval repeat. So green revolution is one of them. Now green revolution took place in our country in the decade of 1960. Okay, there's a massive change in agriculture is called green revolution. But before that, there was a time before green revolution. I repeat, before green revolution, there was a time when there was an acute shortage of food grains in our country. We are facing shortage of eatable items. In spite of agriculture is the main industry of India, an agrarian country had to import food grains. Remember, agrarian country means what? A country in which agriculture is the main occupation. In such country, we have to import food grain. See the worst thing, our main industry is agriculture and still we are importing agriculture products from others. The country was struggling against such dependent conditions where we depend on other countries. Now, the extraordinary increase in agriculture production because of improved seeds, increased use of chemical fertilizer, intense efforts of farmers, widespread arrangement for electricity distribution, improved facility in irrigation is known as green revolution. Students, please underline this. It is the definition. When we can say green revolution can be known when the farmers are using improved seeds, there is a use of increased use of chemical fertilizer, intense efforts of the farmers, widespread arrangement for electricity, means electricity available for long number of time, and farmers efforts are extreme. Okay, government provide or better facility of irrigation. When all these happen together, we can say green revolution is going on. The main objective of the green revolution was to introduce agriculture production Okay, that is the main objective, that agriculture production has to increase. Now farmers were encouraged to use chemical fertilizer and insecticide more, where you encourage farmer that whenever it is required, purchase chemical fertilizer and use insecticide, so that you can able to get the benefit of that. This lead to attain the target to increase the agriculture production. So what happened here? You can able to get the production based on your target, and your quantity and quality of agriculture products will increase. Now there has been a record production of wheat and paddy due to green revolution. Okay, there's a record production, can be asked in MCQ related questions, fill in the blanks. Okay, there has been record production of which crop? Wheat and paddy. Okay, I hope you remember in the my video lecture I already emphasis on these two crops. Next, where there was a scarcity, shortage of food grains in our country, today there is a sufficient storage of the food grains. Remember, before 1960 we are facing shortage. Now we are storing food grains. We have extra food grains. Now once drought was hazard of regular interval in India, its adverse effects are not seen after Green Revolution. Okay. Now the point says that there was a point of time when if it is a drought, then it's difficult to satisfy the requirement of food grains. Okay, but now this kind of adverse effect is not seen. If right now we have a drought, then we can able to manage the requirement of food grains. Okay, recently in lockdown time, government start providing the wheat and other food grains to people, those who have a ration card. Okay, that itself says that we are capable enough to manage unfavorable situation. Due to buffer stock, extra stock of food grains, the condition of drought, of scarcity are faced conveniently. So buffer stock means what? Buffer stock means extra stock of food grains. Okay, government keeps some extra stock of food grains so that when unfavorable situation like condition for drought or scarcity, okay, happen in society, at that time government will use this stock for people, for providing convenience to the people. So that is also managed by government. The self sufficiency in food grains is a landmark historic achievement of Green Revolution, where we have a self-sufficiency. Means what? Whatever the requirement of our country, okay, till that, okay, or even more than that, we are producing the food grains. That is the achievement of Green Revolution. Today, the production of cash crop has increased. The production of pulses and other cereals has decreased with the repetition of the same crop. To change to reach the stage where other countries of the world have progressed using better technology in a green field, we will have to be ready for the next green revolution. The paragraph says that at present what happened? The farmers grow cash crop more because they get money immediately. Okay, and production of pulses and cereals has decreased. Repetition of the same crop. Okay, they are going for. But to reach to the stage where other countries of the world are available, we require to use more technology, and we have to be ready for another green revolution. Okay. Now we go for the next topic. Role of agriculture in Indian economy can be asked for 3 marks. Okay. So learn properly. Okay. And you can able to understand role of agriculture in Indian economy by the help of graph. Imagine 2014-15 and 2009 and 10. If you compare both the area, you will come to know what I am saying. Okay, clear diagram is not print properly on the screen right now, but I think so in textbook you can able to read. Okay, so my request to you is try your level best to understand this chart. Okay, so you will come to know annual grain production in tons. You can able to compare with previous years, and then you will come to know where we stand. Now we will read the role of agriculture in Indian economy. Now, agriculture is the main occupation in India. We already learned this. The pressure which India had at the time of independence is now reduced. What pressure? The pressure is to satisfy the requirement of food grains to every citizen of our country. That reduced somewhat. Okay, see, somewhat is given. It reduced somewhat. And this pressure we were facing at the time of independence, that pressure is reduced now. Okay. However, it still has an important contribution in Indian economy. Yes, even today also in our country, the contribution of agriculture is reflect very easily. The first point is it provide agriculture provide employment, okay, to about one half of population of our country. I hope you can able to understand. 50%, almost 50% people of our country get the employment with the help of agriculture. That is the biggest contribution we can say. Agriculture holds 70% of total gross domestic product. Okay, clear? 70% of total gross domestic product, the total production of India, where agriculture holds 70%. Whatever total production of our country, agriculture holds 17% of that. Then paddy, wheat, oilseed, cotton, jute, sugarcane, tobacco, potatoes are major agriculture products of India. Okay. And much foreign exchange is earned from their export. Can be asked in exam. Which product of Indian agriculture help to earn foreign exchange? And the answer is paddy, wheat, oilseeds, cotton, jute, sugarcane, tobacco, potatoes. Okay. These are those products, okay, which can helpful to earn money, okay, in terms of foreign exchange. Okay. Next, India ranks second in the world in agri production. Agriculture related productions, our country gets second rank in the world. That agriculture production. Okay, which country go for highest agriculture production or agrarian production related to agriculture? Our country secures second rank. Industries like cotton textile, sugar, pepper, oil, etc., as well as the industries regarding the food processing, okay, which process on food, get their raw material from the agriculture products only. Now, cotton textile get the raw material cotton from agriculture products. Sugar can we already discussed. Paper also, oil seeds. All these industries are dependent on agriculture, and industries regarding the food processing, they also get the raw material from agriculture. So that is also a contribution in Indian economy. Agriculture provide food to people of India. Okay, that is a main main contribution that people of India get the food, okay, based on agriculture of our country. The Indian contribution is not consent in the world agricultural market because of irregular and uncertain rain and inadequate, insufficient facility of irrigation. See, our contribution not consistent. We are not contributing constant, stable, because we have uncertain rain and we have an insufficient facility of irrigation. Okay, now rain is always uncertain, but if you improve irrigation facility and you provide sufficient facility of irrigation, then we may get a contribution on constant level every year. Food security is necessary for any country today. And if the demand for the food grain is increasing and the food grains have to be imported, then the political independence of the country may be at risk. Very nice sentence mentioned. See, food security is necessary. What is food security? Food security means every family must get food. It is necessary for any country. But suppose if you want to have a demand for food grains, because of the demand of food grain is increasing, you require to be import food grain. That means you have to be dependent on some other country. And that is why politically also you are dependent on somebody. Well, that is not a good indication. It's a risk for a country. We have become self reliant, independent in the field of grain production due to green evolution. As far as grain production is concerned, we are self-reliant. We are not importing. We are not dependent on any country. Along with the increase in farm production, there is an increase in population of the country also. You are aware that in our country population is increasing. Farm production also increase, but at the same time, please compare, population also increase. In 1951, India's population was 36 crore and 10 lakhs. And today it is more than 125 crore. Students, I hope you compare this numerical data, you understand what I am saying. This has increased the demand for food grains. It has increased the demand of food grains because population increase, so demand of food grains also increase. However, there has been an increase in the production of food grains in our country during last 5 years, as I told you. In 1950, now this data you have to remember. I will not explain because numerical data. In 1950-51, India has produced 51 crore tons of food grains, which has increased at the record level 265.04 crore tons in 2013-14. With the food grains which we have today, the minimum requirement of the country can be fulfilled. Whatever minimum we require to satisfy, that can be satisfied. It is necessary to maintain the buffer stock and to increase it so that when unfavorable situation arise, we can able to satisfy the scarcity, shortage of food grains. By the buffer stock of the food grains, the scarcity of the grains can be prevented during the drought or in the case of inadequate, insufficient production of the food grains. I already talked to you about this. Now, very sad, very sad. The wastage of food grains can be prevented by implementing the technique to preserve the grain in the warehouse. Tons of food grains are wasted because sometimes we don't know the technique how to preserve them. Even though people are poor, they are hungry, we are not able to provide them the food grains because we don't know how to preserve them. We don't know the real correct technique to preserve them. The hungers of thousands of families can be satisfied if this buffer stock is distributed among them free of charge. Right now, during lockdown, government did this. Some families, okay, I think so, almost majority of families, those who have ration card, at least for 1 month, they get the, this food grain free of cost, free of charge. It is a strong necessity of the time to stop the wastage of food grains. Okay, at least it must be utilized for those who are needy. It is necessary to strengthen the food stocking and the arrangement to conserve. Okay, you have to conserve it, you have to keep it, go for a stock. It is a good beginning that the government has made provision to supply of food grains up to the poor people, BPL card holder, through Food Security Act. Now, Food Security Act we will discuss in chapter 7. I just given a short. Food Security Act means what? Those who are BPL card holder, okay, under Food Security Act, every month they will get some kg food grains based on number of family members available in their family. In the ration card, if the name of the members are registered, then their number of names are there. Accordingly, they will get the food. That is called Food Security Act. And government already started that. Okay. Now, we will go ahead. The last topic of this chapter, impact of globalization on Indian agriculture. This question I think so asked in previous board exam paper. Okay. And some students make mistake. They wrote the answer of globalization. See, it is true that question is related with globalization, but impact of globalization, not globalization. Impact of globalization, and that is also on Indian agriculture. I hope you understand the concept. If our country go for globalization, then what is the impact of that globalization on Indian agriculture? That is the question. Let's read that. The policy of globalization has been implemented with the purpose that the Indian farmer can sell his farm products in world market and earn profit. The policy of globalization is what? Indian farmer can sell the products, okay, in the world market and earn the profit. Here there is a question for you. Which are the main Indian products, agricultural products we are exporting? Which are the main agricultural products we are exporting to get foreign currency? I give you hint. In today's lecture only I announce. I put underline also. So I want your answer in the comment section. Please write your name because some students are writing comments from the parents' mobile number. So I request you mention your name. Then only I will announce your name. Okay. And those who not mentioned, for them also I already expressed my thank you. We'll go ahead. So find out the main farm products which can earn foreign currency for our country. We go ahead. Many changes took place in the agriculture field due to globalization. The process to export or import crop production is made very simple. You can very easily import or export the agricultural products. Now cotton, chilies and till are now available in Chinese market. Okay, Indian cotton, chilies and till and all those available in Chinese market. Various fruits, okay, from the world are now available in Indian market. Okay, kiwi and dragon fruit are the example. The costly genetically modified BT seeds sold by multinational companies are now available in India. Okay, some multinational companies sell BT seeds for better production. Okay, now that BT seeds, okay, available in our country. Due to this, farming has become costly. Little bit you have to pay because multinational company not provide BT seeds at lower cost. Okay, because they are genetically modified. Company spend money for research and development. So they will sell that particular BT seeds to farmer at higher price. So little farming has become costly. The production of cotton and maize has increased. Please underline cotton and maize increase. With the import become smoother, the domestic farm products have to face tough competition because what we are importing that is compete with what we are producing. So that's why our product face competition. I hope you understand. Import becomes smoother means what? For example, if we import rice, for example, hypothetically, if we import rice and we produce rice, then the production, the Indian rice production go for competition with the foreign imported rice and tough competition. Some products have gained global market, hence it is necessity of registration of patent. Patent means one kind of registration where we can able to prove that we are the first who produce this, or indirectly we get a monopolistic registration that is called patent. Okay, like for example turmeric, used in Gujarati haldar, haldi, that is available with Vico company. Okay, fine. So these kind of patents we have to register. It is necessary to register qualitative farm products as national patent in the world market. To get best patent, you have to improve the quality of your production. Okay, at the world level, your quality will be competitive. To face the competition in agriculture products in global markets, India will have to adapt new technology and concentrate on the quality. We already discussed. If you participate with abroad agriculture products, then you have to improve your quantity and quality both. A series of planned steps will have to be taken to increase the economic prosperity, income as far as farmer and country's income concerned, and solidarity of people, joint efforts. Now, with increased population, the probable future increase in the demand of agriculture products, because if population increase, then demand of agriculture product also increase. And to maintain the march to economic progress, to earn money, economic progress, it is necessary to arrange the strategy for second green revolution. So we have to prepare strategy that in second green revolution we can able to earn more money and can produce better quality and quantity of agriculture products. So students, this is the our chapter 10, okay, of our social science subject, and uh, you can able to go through the questions and accordingly you have to prepare yourself. All right. So here we would like to conclude our lesson, and if you have a doubt, please ask me in comment section. Till then, please take care of yourself, students. Thank you.